We kept track of 87 different people coming through over a 2-year cycle. And so this is an accumulation of 2 years of groups, 6 different groups of people, total of 87 people. I guess I wanted to say a little bit about questioning people. They were given questionnaires to fill out after they had their experience. They went into an altered state of consciousness experience using the hemisync system in individual rooms. And then when they would come out of their individual rooms or immediately after their experience, they would fill out these questionnaires and then come out of the rooms and turn them over to the trainers. So we tried to keep people away from each other, comparing their answers, and then they turned them in. So these questions then, these answers that they were given, as I explained before, we looked at the different meanings of words that people had. In other words, if they said they perceived light or they perceived energy, that was probably weighted about the same thing. We allowed for some sort of interpretive difference between what people said. Symbolic interpretation of, I see crystals, I see crosses, I see this. Common symbols were reported. And then the storyline analysis. Well, I first arrived there and on my left was this, and then after that I did that. And so it was a matter of analyzing the little story they told and, okay, let's get down to the meat of it, what happened when you got there, Now, looking first at describe this process. When you are in the Healing Regeneration Center, describe the process. They're sent in the exercise off to the Healing Regeneration Center, and then they're asked afterwards, describe the process that's ongoing there. And basically what we're saying here is people reported commonly across here, energy, almost 20%, light, about 10%, meeting spiritual beings, again, about 15%, and the idea of happiness, enjoyment. They came back from their trip saying, I'm really having a good time. Happiness, enjoyment, low. But the biggest indicator was love. The healing and regeneration process in this area of consciousness is love. Now, we talked about whether energy and light might be perceived as the same thing. And if we wanted to, we could put them all in a big bowl and say energy, light, and love are all the same thing. Depends on how you want to look at it. If I were to describe to a friend, if I was walking up and to describe to a friend what they could do to maintain their own personal health, what do I bring back? What informational content do I bring back by my visit to this specialized place? What if I were to walk up to you? What should I tell you to do? And the answers to that pertain to doing physical things, how much exercise you do and food you should eat, so forth and so on. Here's the food one over here. All very low percentages. What's this spike here all about? Express love. Okay? Now, that's pretty interesting because we ask them what they should be telling others they should do. And the answer to that is you need to tell the other, whatever other is, to be expressing love. And that's sort of interesting. There's a zone beyond Focus 27 in Bob Monroe's concept of the Earth life system extends to a realm called Focus 27. And once you break free of the cycle of lifetimes on Earth, you break out of something called the Earth life system. Now, in God's creation, there's more than the Earth life system. There are probably lots more than the Earth life system. But there is a way to visit and to move outside of that. The problem is that we can't relate to each other. We are, in fact, within the Earth life system. So what tools, expletive descriptions can I give you to describe something outside of the Earth life system? Well, it becomes sort of impossible. But we thought we'd ask some people to move into those fringe areas beyond Focus 27 and see what they could discern, pick up in this zone beyond the Earth life system. Interestingly enough, people describe a landscape of some kind. No particular landscape, they just see a landscape of some kind. They see a group dynamic, the idea of there was a group there, there was a gathering there. But a lot of them just perceive nothing, a void, an emptiness, nothing there. The biggest spike here is creation, and over here some form of guidance. Creative processes. Okay, down here, this idea of energy. And I think that it's little because our meaning of energy, our semantic meaning of energy carries with it or is imbued with the concept of radiation from here to there, distance, space, and time, everything that we think about in terms of energy. I don't like to use the word energy because of that semantic limitation. Energy is transmitted from one place to the other, propagated over a certain frequency and wavelength and so forth and so on. But outside of electromagnetic reality, all those words and descriptions don't fit anymore, and so I don't think it was perceived very heavily.
Could people pick two things?
Yes, people were not forced in choice. This was like she's asking, was there a list of things and they had to pick what they perceived? No, it was a narrative answer, and they would describe, well, I got out into Focus 33, and while I was there, I perceived nothing. It was an open, empty void. Or they could talk about what they did perceive. And so yes, when I went through and read these 87 different reports, I would highlight and then enter into the computer thing, so people could have multiple answers.
So I'm kind of surprised that it's only like 15%, 17%. Were the people that had no experience?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So how many had no experience?
Yeah, I can turn to that in the document here, and let's do that so that I can answer that question. And I'll turn to looking at your Focus 33 question here. She wants to know how many people had no answer. And that's a really good question. In Focus 33, participants next responded to the open question, Focus 33. Not all participants commented on the exercise. 83% reported these observations.